Welcome back to bringing yoga into our daily lives through the 8 limbs of yoga. We've started our Niyamas and we're moving on into Svadhyaya, self-study. Today we practice self-study where we inquire of our own nature. We take time to observe ourselves, our patterns, habits, and thoughts, and become intimate with ourselves as we cultivate self-knowledge. There is no relationship that is more important than the relationship with ourselves. By paying attention to ourselves, we become more aware of the things we do to harm us and those that serve us, as well as bring closer to the process of uniting or yoking with true self. We can practice Svadhyaya by spending solitary time in nature, journaling, meditating, and practicing yoga. In yoga, challenging poses or asanas show us how to respond when dealing with our edge, while slower movements and long holds often reflect back to us our current state of mind. Getting deep into physical practice allows the issues in our tissues to come to the surface, allowing us to see where we might be holding past hurts and present tension. In this way, our yoga practice helps us cultivate self-knowledge each time we come back to yoga. Today we'll combine the flow of desires within the sacral chakra seed sound Vam and our third eye of wisdom, reflection, and intuition with the sound Om. So as we get ready to make those seed sounds, we're coming to our sitting position. We are also going to come into a hand mudra while we move through this. So here we're going to move into Chin Mudra. Chin Mudra, the gesture of consciousness. Lightly join the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb, keeping the remaining fingers extended and relaxed. Sitting in our comfortable, easy seated position for yoga with the knees open, we bring the hands on the knees, palms facing down. Extend through the spine, relax the shoulders, and focus on our breath as we lightly focus on the subtle sensations of the physical body. So here we are. Focusing on the breath. And the benefits of this here is it sharpens the intellect, reduces daydreaming and mental fantasy during meditation. Lifts depression, opens the lower lobes of the lungs, especially when accompanied by deep diaphragmatic breathing. Those are the benefits to this mudra. So now we're going to bring in the sound Vam 3 times, and then we will move to Om 3 times. So let's inhale to Vam. Vam. Inhale to Om. Inhale to Om. Om. last one. Inhale to Om. Nice deep breaths. We've centered, we've relaxed. Feeling just a little more at peace as we come to awarenesses of our body, our habits, our thoughts. Let's make an intention here, whether it be just for throughout the practice or for the rest of the day. All right, let's come all the way down to the ground. So as we come all the way down to the ground, we're going to hand to the backs of the legs, tuck the knees in. Let's give ourselves a hug as we lift the head, bring the head towards the knees, and gently rock left and right here. Little massage on the low back, mid back. Let's find our center and start to release the soles of the feet. Let's go ahead and bring the palms face down. We're setting up for our modified bridge. So heels close to the glutes, soles planted, toes point away, knees hip width distance apart. And in fact here, we can add a block or a ball, whatever we have, and bring it 2 inches above the knees and squeeze those inner thighs. Let's bring our palms face down. As we set up, we're starting to shrug the shoulders inward towards the midline so that our heart starts to lift. Our abs tuck in, press down, the palms come down, and let's extend through the neck as we decide to look one direction, just moving the head. Let's inhale back through center and exhale the opposite direction. Inhaling center. Exhale, moving the other direction. Inhaling center. Exhale, look in the opposite direction. Let's inhale center here. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to exhale and lift the hips. Squeeze the inner thighs. Let's inhale, bring it down. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, let's bring it back down. Just warming up here. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, coming back down. Exhale, let's lift the hips and hold the hips up. Let's inhale and lift the hips a little higher. Exhale, we stabilize, moving muscles and our energy to center, navel. Inhale, lift a little higher. And let's exhale, release down. On the next inhale, we're lifting hips and lifting the arms up and over. And we exhale, we bring arms, hands, bring the glutes down, back down. Inhale, lifting up and over. Exhale, let's bring it back down. Inhale, lift up and over. Exhale, bring it back down. Now here, where we still have the block between the legs, remember this is an option to have the block or a ball between our legs. You can just have nothing there. Let's bring knees, lengthening legs upward. Maybe adjust the block or ball here. Still squeezing into those inner thighs if we do have that option, and we're flattening into the back. Those toes are reaching toward us. We're really contracting our abs to draw up through the heels towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead and inhale, bring the arms up and over. Let's exhale, bring the feet down, arms down. Let's inhale, lift the glutes up. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lift up and over. Exhale, this time let's add a crunch. Inhale, up and over. Bring the feet down as we exhale. Bring the arms all the way back down. Inhale, lengthening the hips hips up. Exhale, bringing the hips back down. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, bring it rounding up, lengthening towards the knees. Go ahead and start to release it down as we inhale. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale down. Exhale, to keep it stable here for a moment. Press into the back. Let's inhale, up and over. Exhale, bring it up. Bring it all the way down. Let's inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, lift. Inhale, bring it down. And lifting up. Exhale, release. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, lifting up. Bring it down. Try to inhale as we lift up. Exhale, bring it down. Let's go ahead and remove the block if we had it. Let's lift the glutes again. This time bring palms facing down. We're going to use a little bit of protecting the low back here. So palms face down, set the glutes back down, protect the low back. Let's draw knees into chest. Dorsiflex our feet as our back is flat into the ground. Taking another breath here. Let's start to inhale and extend the legs up the wall. Toes point towards the nose. And let's exhale, bring the knees back into the chest. Point the toes away, plantar flexion. Inhale, lengthen into our boat. Keep hip width distance apart. Let's exhale, bend the knees, draw it in, flatten, dorsiflex the foot. Inhale, lengthen up, legs up the wall. Exhale, bend the knees, draw in towards the chest. Point the toes. Inhale, boat pose. Exhale, slow, controlled motion, knees towards the chest, dorsiflex the feet. Inhale, lengthen legs up the wall. Nice deep breaths here. Let's exhale, knees to chest, point the toes, plantar flexion. Inhale, lengthen into boat. Exhale, bring knees back towards the chest, dorsiflex the feet. Inhale, lengthen legs up the wall. Exhale, last one. Bring knees into chest, point those toes, plantar flexion. Let's extend into our boat. Exhale, knees come back towards the chest. Dorsiflex, inhale, lengthen legs up the wall. And this time, let's open the legs for center straddle. Open as wide as we can. Keep the toes in towards the shins, and we're extending through the heels. Taking in another breath, those abs are tight. Let's exhale, back to hip width distance apart slowly. Let's inhale, open straddle. Exhale, our abs are working here. Slowly coming back to legs up the wall. Inhale, open straddle. Exhale, pull it back together. Inhale, open straddle. And exhale, let's pull it back together. Start to hinge at the legs. Let's bring the feet close to the glutes as we bring them all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift those glutes high up off the mat. And as we lift the hips up, if we can, let's try and bring fingers interlaced and press down towards the mat and lift the hips as high as we can without opening the knees, but keeping them hip width distance apart here. Strength through our quads, opening through the heart. One more breath. And let's exhale, release the hands, release the back. Let's take one knee in towards the chest, squeezing in. Taking nice deep breaths. One more deep breath here. And And let's exhale. We're going to take the hand with the same knee and just bring it on the inside of the knee. Open up. Take the opposite hand. Bring it to that hip, making sure that we keep our mind stable within the body, that the hip is grounded, the glute is grounded as we open through this leg. Nice deep breaths here. Let's start to exhale, bring that leg back. Now as we bring it back, take that opposite hand, grab a hold of the lateral side of that leg, even lift that leg gently over the other leg so that we're starting to cross, but still we're bringing that knee. So as the foot crosses lightly on the other leg, we still have a hold of that knee, and we're actually drawing it over to the opposite chest here. So before we drew it into the same side of the chest, and now we're drawing to the opposite side of the chest. So the knee is bent. We're possibly using a belt or hands interlaced here as we bring it over to the other side. Let's exhale. We're going to gently release that. As we release that sole of the foot, let's bring the opposite knee in towards the chest. Squeeze in tight, draw those elbows in, lengthen through the back of the neck. Coming into the breath here, 2 more deep breaths. And as we exhale that last breath, once again, same hand to same leg, other hand moves to that hip, stabilizing. Let's bring that hand on the inside of that knee. Keep the knee bent and just nicely open that gently up. Ground through the foot, ground through that opposite side. Come back into the breath. Breath here. Let's exhale and start to bring that knee back in. And remember, we're going to switch hands. So that opposite hand now comes to the lateral side of that knee. We're going to lift that foot just gently over the other as if we're trying to cross that leg. Heel might touch, but we're actually bringing that knee towards the opposite chest. So we have a hold of the leg, whether hands are interlaced or we have a belt, and we're drawing the knee to the opposite side. Nice deep breaths here. And let's start to exhale. We're going to release that, bringing that leg all the way back down. Let's go ahead and plant the hands, inhale back into our modified bridge. Nice deep breath here. Let's exhale, bring it back down. And as we do, let's extend through the legs. We're going to move into a pulling up here of the abs. We're going to move into a roll up. So let's go ahead and extend through the feet. Now you can point the toes or you could dorsiflex the feet. Let's make sure we have hip width distance apart. We're pressing down into the mat. Let's inhale, lengthen up and over. Take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, we slowly roll up. As we roll up, make sure that we have that hip width distance apart. Toes now are pointing up if we had pointed toes. And let's continue to extend forward just as far as we can. And then once we grab a hold of whether it be the knees, the legs, the shins, the ankles, the toes, wherever we're at, we relax the shoulders. Let's lengthen all the way through the crown of the head, flattening the back. Taking nice deep breaths here. And maybe even softening the elbows as we relax on the exhales. The inhales, we're trying to lengthen through the spine, tucking the abs in. And now let's start to release that. We're going to come up into a twist. So let's bring one knee bent. Let's keep that foot dorsiflexed. Grab a hold of the opposite arm, comes over, that hand hangs onto the outside of that foot. We're gonna start to extend, the other hand is on the knee. Start to lengthen through the back. So we're not so much worried about the extension of the leg as we lengthen, stacking the vertebrae, rolling the shoulders back and down, and even starting to open the shoulders. Maybe hand comes to hip. If you're ready, you can extend that arm all the way back as we lengthen through the torso, stacked vertebrae, and then you can start to lengthen through that front leg. Still using the breath as we focus on the breath, the movement, and the hold of the pose. And let's exhale. Let's sweep that arm back, hinge at the knee, lengthen that leg forward. Inhale, bring it up and over. Exhale, coming forward again. Grab a hold of wherever you can. Let's exhale again, release the head, round it back. Inhale, let's lengthen, press the heart forward, roll those shoulders back. Exhale, let's round again. Inhale, lengthen into a flat back. Bring that heart forward. Exhale, let's release that. Inhale, lengthen, shining the heart forward, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, shine that heart forward, roll the shoulders back, lengthen through the torso. Let's exhale and release that. We're moving to our other leg. So let's bend that knee, keep the feet dorsiflexed, ground through that other leg, and then dorsiflex the opposite. Remember, opposite hand comes to the lateral side of that foot. Start to extend, hang on to the knee, lift up through the crown, find the vertebrae stacking and lengthening. Use those ab muscles, tucking in, lengthening. When you are ready, hand can come to the hip. You start to open through the shoulders. Maybe we look to the side. Then when you're ready, you can bring that hand all the way back. You can look back behind you. Then you can start extending through that front leg when you are ready, as long as we don't compromise our back. We want to keep length in the back first. And then we can extend through the leg as we keep the back lengthened. Let's exhale, slowly sweep that arm back. Start to release that leg, bring the leg back forward. Inhale, lengthening up and over. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Grab a hold of the legs, ankles, feet, or toes. Inhale, lengthen through the back. Shine the heart forward. Exhale, release. Inhale again, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale and exhale. Let's start to bring it all the way, lengthening back up. We're going to move our legs to one side or the other comfortably as we come up to all fours. Coming up to all fours here, we find our flat back, whether we have fist for wrist, tucking in those thumbs to protect our wrists, or we have wide hands here, spreading through the fingertips, and even pressing some of that weight and energy into the knuckles, the fingertips, the entire hand here. Let's inhale into our cow, gazing forward. Exhale, moving into our cat. Rounding the back, let's inhale, cow. Exhaling, cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, moving into cat. And now we're going to switch the breath and bring in a new awareness here. So let's come back into cow, and we're going to exhale into our cow, gaze forward. Let's inhale into our cat. Exhaling into cow. Notice the difference. Notice how the body feels different. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Last one. Inhale, cat. Exhale, relaxing the back. Let's bring the hands forward. We want to move into our downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, lifting through the glutes. Let's start to walk the heels out here. Bicycling the legs. Deep breaths. Coming back to focus on the breath and our body alignment. Let's inhale, heel comes up and back. Exhale, bend the knee, draw it forward. We want to come into our low lunge here. So let's softly drop the knee. Allow that extension. Press the hips forward, down. Make sure knee, ankle alignment, toes point forward, hips forward. Let's inhale, bring the arms up and over. Let's exhale, palms forward, coming into cactus arms. Let's inhale, draw those cactus arms back, open through the heart. Let's exhale, bring it together, palms, then zip down to the elbows, contract as we press together. Inhale, let's open back up. Let's exhale, bring it all the way down. Tuck the toes, lift the knee. Take a nice deep breath, let's stabilize. We want to come into our high lunge, lifting all the way up. Release, let's hinge forward, step forward, hip width distance apart. Inhale, drawing all the way up and over. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen up and over. Let's exhale, forward fold, hinge to get the hips tight, core, swan dive all the way to the floor. Keep those soft knees. Inhale, let's move into our monkey. Shine the heart forward, gaze forward. Let's exhale, bring the hands back down. Step the opposite leg back. Remember, we're going to start at high lunge here. So keep those toes tucked under. Knee, ankle alignment, toes forward. Inhale, draw the arms up and over. Let's exhale, bring it back down to the floor. Remember, we're going to then release the knee down. And then inhale, lengthen up and over again. Let's start to bring the palms forward. Next breath, we're drawing those cactus arms here. Let's inhale, draw the cactus arms back. Exhale, bring it forward, palms connect, zip down to the elbows, pressing together. Inhale, let's lengthen back open. Exhale, bring the hands to the ground. Lift that knee up. We're going to send this leg back into downward facing dog. So step it back, downward facing dog, and take a nice deep breath here. Let's exhale into our plank pose. Keeping in plank for another couple of breaths. And if we're ready, side plank. Just simply move the feet to the side, keep the hips lifted, keep that arm aligned with the wrist as we draw up. And let's release back down. We're going to switch to the other side. Moving to the opposite side. Remember, you can come down to the knees. You don't have to lengthen all the way through the legs. Bringing it down. Plank. Let's go ahead and move it to the knees now. Draw those elbows in. We want to move through crocodile. As we come all the way down, bringing a choice here. You can draw those elbows in, lift the palms, and come up into baby cobra as we gaze forward. Or you can press the palms down, coming into regular cobra. Lengthening through the neck, still bringing those shoulders down and back, shining the heart forward with the gaze. Let's exhale, release. Inhale, pressing up into partial plank. Exhale, let's take it all the way back. Let's move into our wide-legged extended child's pose. So knees open here. Option to bring forearms down and release the head. And in fact, let's all start here with releasing the head, forearms down, stacking shoulder, elbow alignment, palms can spread. And we're going to shake the head yes. Keep the back nice and flat. Then let's shake the head no. Now let's find stillness for a moment and slowly look over one shoulder. Release through center. And then look over the other shoulder, just looking over the other direction. Slowly release to center. As we release to center, let's start to extend through the arms and release the forehead. Starting to bring it back up. Let's spread through the palms of the hands, start to lift back up, knees come under the hips. We're going to move back into our downward facing dog. So extending through those arms, extending through the legs. Knees can be soft. You can always have soft knees. Let's flatten through the back. Taking nice deep breaths again. Let's inhale, bringing up one leg up and back. Exhale, drawing forward. As we draw forward, let's set up for a warrior. So bring that other foot slightly and lengthened, diagonal. The other leg is bent, toes point forward. We can even press. Make sure we have a nice flat back as we press all the way up. Let's move into warrior one by having those hips forward facing. Remember, more challenging. If you feel you need more of a challenge here, you widen out. You bring yourself lower. You just simply bring the stance between the legs wider. If you don't need so much challenging and you need to ease up, bring the legs closer. One more breath in warrior one. And let's exhale, release the arms. We're gonna add a revolving twist here. So take the opposite arm to the leg that is forward. Simply bring it to that lateral side. The other hand comes to that opposite hip. Start to twist and lengthen through the spine. Even looking over possibly that shoulder. Then let's bring it back forward. Fingertips come together. We're coming into reverse namaste. It's just behind our back. Bringing palms together, fingertips upward facing. Just as best as we can here. Inhale, let's exhale. Draw forward, hinge at the hips, keep the flat back. And just come into a forward, lengthened back here. And inhale, lengthen up. Let's exhale, release that. Draw ourselves forward, hip width distance apart. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, bring hands to the ground. Let's step the opposite foot back. We're setting up here for our warrior one. Inhale, bring the arms up. Remember, you can use that leg. Remember, we can always make it more challenging if we need to, or less challenging. So check in with the body. Let's inhale, up and over, warrior one. Let's release the arms. Letting them come down to the side. Remember, we're moving into revolving twist. So same side, you're just bringing that hand, opposite hand, then the other hand comes back to the hip. We're twisting, lengthening through the vertebrae. Let's go ahead and start to release that. Now, as we move forward, we're bringing those hands back for reverse namaste. Fingertips here touch. They start to move, palms together, and we lift the fingertips up towards center back. So bring those hips forward. Make sure we're still in our warrior one. Just wanted to show you what it looks like from the back. And take a nice deep breath. As we exhale, we're hinging at the hips, allowing ourselves to come forward. And as we inhale, we're lengthening back up. As we exhale, we release. We're going to step it forward. Hip width distance apart. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Taking nice deep breaths here at our forward fold, releasing. Let's move into ragdoll. So ragdoll, soften the knees, hip width distance apart. Release all the way through the body. Let's bring hands into the arms here as we relax. Now here you can just focus on the deep breath as it moves through the back and releases and relaxes our vertebrae. Or you can add a movement. This is simply bending one knee, opposite knee extends, and allows the hips to shift side to side. Once the hips are shifting side to side, your relaxed torso starts to take a little bit of a ride. Still moving with the rhythm of the breath. Let's go ahead, release all the way down, soften those knees. Let's inhale, come up into half back. Keep stable, soft knees, airplane. Inhale again, drawing back, palms face the ground, spread through the fingers or point the fingers back towards the back wall. Lift the arms as high as we can when we have that nice flat back. Adding to this, switch the weight to one side and start to extend through a back leg, coming into airplane with third warrior. Focus on the breath, last breath. And let's exhale, soften, bend that knee, bring it back down. Bring the arms to the side, hinge up. Inhale, tighten those glutes, lift up and over. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthening up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half back. Exhale, moving into airplane. Palms face the ground, lengthen back, lengthen up. Strong abs here. Adding more balance. This is just an option. Opposite leg, and then extend into warrior three with the other leg. 3 breaths. And let's exhale, bend, soften that knee, bring it back, hip width distance apart. Strong through our legs, tighten those glutes, press through the heels. Inhale, flat back lifts us all the way up and over. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. Let's inhale, lengthen up and over. And exhale, release. Now, if you want to add to our chair pose, we're going to move into a few chair poses. Chair twist. You can always add a block or ball to strengthen our inner thighs. So here, I will add a block 2 inches above my knees. I'm still hip width distance apart. I can see my toes. Let's go ahead and inhale, lengthen all the way up and over. And we're going to exhale, just bring that energy down. Palms face us as if we're moving that energy all the way down to the ground. We check our knees. They don't surpass our toes. Our hips hinged back here, right at the hips, flatten the back. Let's inhale, lengthen all the way up and over. This time we're going to stop at the heart. Exhale, palms come together, hinge back. Bring hands to heart. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, twist. Now you can keep it here, hands at heart, or you can open the arms like a star pose here. Same twist. If you do have those arms, you can also bring elbow to latch on that lateral side of the knee if that's comfortable for you. Let's go ahead and release that, coming back to center. Inhale, let's bring it up and over. Exhale, palms together, heart center, hinging back, chair pose. Once we find our chair pose, we exhale, we twist. Now, once again, we can just twist and keep it here. We can open the arms, helps open the back. Or, if we're ready, maybe we bring that elbow to the lateral side of that knee, hitch, lengthen through the back. Continue to stack shoulders and stack vertebrae. Let's go ahead and release that, coming center. Inhale, lengthen up and over. Good. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart. If you're ready to release that block, we're going to release it. We want to move into garland pose. So let's find a wider stance. Maybe shoulder width distance. You'll find it as you start to move down as well. Toes are going to point the same direction as our knees start to bend. So, like we would sun and moonflowers. Let's inhale, lengthen all the way up. As we exhale, we bring hands to heart. We take another deep breath, knowing we're going to keep our spine aligned, and we're going to start to hinge back like we would chair pose. We hinge at our knees track towards the ankles, towards the toes, our glutes hinge back and down. Now, if we're not quite ready to come all the way to the floor, let's say that you get about this far and the heels start to lift. Well, then you're not ready. Let's bring the feet completely flat on the ground. So maybe some of us will be right here, stabilizing. Some of us might be able to bring the glutes further down and start to bring the palms together, and even press the elbows to the inner thighs as it opens up the legs. Make sure we have a nice flat back wherever you are at today. Nice deep breaths. One more breath here. Let's exhale, release the hands, come down to the ground, lift the glutes. Take a nice deep breath. Let's heel toe to hip width distance apart. Soften those knees, toes now point forward, hip width distance apart. Fingers lightly touch the ground. Let's exhale, start to hinge at our knees and our hips. We're bringing the glutes back and down just as far as we can. Then we're just barely touching the floor. We're inhaling, releasing, lengthening through the legs, releasing the head. Exhale, back to a squat-like position. Inhale, lengthening up. Building muscles in the legs. Let's exhale as well as length. Drawing back. Inhale, lengthen up. Now let's keep it here for a moment. So soften the knees enough. We want to move into our gorilla pose. Palms up. Fingertips face the body. Taking turns, stepping foot to hand. Toes come up to the bend in the wrist. You're stepping on the palm of your hand. We release the head, neck, back, shoulders. As we focus on our breath, we're lengthening through the knees. Let's gently start to release that. Coming back to our mat, hip width distance apart. Let's walk it out to our downward facing dog. Taking nice deep breaths here. Let's inhale, moving into plank. And from plank, we're going to move through crocodile. Make sure we hinge the elbows in, chin, heart, abs all the way down. Coming into cobra or baby cobra, lifting through the crown of the head. 2 more deep breaths here. And let's exhale. Let's start to move into our locust, bringing hands all the way back. Palms face your legs. Fingertips point back. Toes point back. Hip width distance apart. Let's inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift up off the back. Then lift those legs as high as we can while we breathe. And let's exhale. Release, bringing hands back. And inhale, partial plank, kneeling plank. Let's exhale, move it all the way back into a child's pose of your choice. Coming up, we want to move into camel pose, so let's stack knees, hips. Once again, you can grab a blocker ball to help those inner thighs contract inward. Let's make fists for wrists. Inhale, lengthen through the heart, lengthen through the gaze. Remember you're breathing, and we're stacking joints here. So hips and knees stay in alignment as we open and breathe, drawing the shoulders back down, elbows in. Remember, the other option is gazing forward if this hurts the neck in any way. Let's exhale. Drawing up, we're going to interlace our fingers, hands back and down. Let's hinge all the way back for our child's pose. We're going to add to our child's pose as we keep the fingers together. We're going to add a chest expansion as we exhale, release. Inhale, lifting up off the back. start to release that. Let's come all the way up onto all fours. Inhale, windmill. Exhale, let's release down. Inhale, windmill. Exhale, release down. Inhale, windmill. Let's keep it up for 3 breaths. And let's exhale, release. We're going to move to the opposite side. Inhale, windmill. Exhale, gently releasing. Inhale, windmill. Exhale, releasing. And inhale, windmill. 3 breaths. And let's exhale, release. Let's inhale, spinal balance. Stretching. 2 more breaths. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, spinal balance, opposite side. Slowly releasing. Let's come back to our seat. Come back to easy cross-legged style here. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, release the shoulders. Let's inhale, squeeze the shoulders all the way up to the ears. And exhale, release the shoulders. As we do, let's take head, heart, align to the knee. Take a nice deep breath, let the knees relax. On your next inhale, we sweep forward, heart forward, shoulders roll back, and move all the way to that opposite knee. And then we start to round it back. We want to make a full circle here, moving through cat, cow, and all the way to the sides as we scrape the barrel as well. So bringing that heart forward, inhale forward, all the way to the other knee. Exhale, let's round it back. Again, inhale. And exhale. Let's pause there for a moment. Switch the legs, whichever you had. And now we're going to move to the other side, and we're going to pause for a moment as we align head, heart, knee. Taking another deep breath, roll the shoulders back. On our next inhale, we sweep from one knee forward to the other knee. And we exhale, we round it back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. Inhaling forward. And exhaling back. Let's go ahead and release that. We're going to come all the way to the ground now. As we come all the way to the ground, let's make sure we round through the back, that we tuck those abs in, and then we come all the way back. Let's give ourselves a squeeze here. And start to release. As we release, let's release one leg. Let's take that other leg and bring it into happy baby. So our knee is bent. We're just grabbing a hold of that ankle, foot, grab a hold of the knee, and you're bringing it closer to the chest or heart. And just taking nice deep breaths. And then as we cradle the baby, we can rock it. So you can gently move side to side. And then let's start to release so that that ankle now is going to come right above that bent knee. Right above that knee. Take that inside arm, bring it into the inner thigh and press away. And then release the hands, open. Let's relax the leg to the same side the foot points to. Keep the shoulders grounded here as we move through the hips. Some of us can bring it all the way to the floor and allow the foot to settle on the knee to point up. Some of us will still be in the air, and that is just fine. Just use the breath to relax the muscles, the tendons, the joints. Focusing on the inhales and exhales. Let's go ahead and slowly start to bring it up using those abs. Let's take that leg, relax, release. Let's take the other leg. We're going to move into cradle the baby, so bring the knee close to the chest. Start to bring that hand to the other ankle and draw that foot in towards the chest as well. Wherever you're at, the other foot is grounding. You've stabilized, we're completely on the ground, our head isn't lifted, we're just relaxed wherever we're at. We can start to move, we can cradle and rock the baby. And then as we relax, let's go ahead and let that ankle move to that knee that is grounded. Take that inside hand into the inner thighs, we press away. And then let's open the arms. Remember, we're moving the same direction the foot points to. Eventually grounding the foot into the floor. Allowing the hips to twist. Keeping arms open. Heart, chest open here. Focusing back on the breath and even starting to shut the eyes as we are cooling down for Shavasana. Remember, you can always have a pen and paper and plenty of props, pillows, whatever brings you back to meditate again and again, bringing stillness to our mind and awareness to our mind. Let's go ahead and start to bring ourselves back to center. Releasing that leg. Take a nice deep inhale. We're going to give ourselves a hug. Exhale, knees to chest. Lift the head. Grab a hold of those legs. Squeeze tight here, really tight, as we rock gently left and right. And when we're ready, let's go ahead and start to release. We're going to release all the way down through the legs, allowing us to come in Shavasana now. So whatever you need to get ready, pen, paper, props, maybe something for the knees to be open or propped up to help the low back. Even a chair you can bring to put the legs on top of the chair. Taking nice deep breaths, palms are open, and you're welcome to come into that first mudra, Chin Mudra, where we bring the thumb and the index finger together. It's Jnana when the palms are facing upward and the position on the legs. But you can also use this to still the mind and bring in awareness as we do our Shavasana. You can leave it palms face up and just relax. Closing the eyes, moving into our breath here. As we move into the breath, we're centering our focus and our awareness with each and every breath. Today we open through the eye of wisdom as we take time to clear our mind and focus on our breath. Breathing in, breathing out. We relax with each and every breath. We allow our attention to shift from outside to in. settling in the upper dantian, the third eye. Today in meditation, we open our eyes and hearts wide open to see every ripple of disharmony that we perceive and experience. We explore the mirror of perception. The world and others simply reflect back to us what we are already seeing, not what is there. If we have strong feelings of like or dislike for the world or others, it was first within us. The world gives you what you see. We all have created our own little realities. As we begin to observe, pay attention and focus on what we are saying to ourselves about the moment, others, or ourself and life. This will give us clues into how we perceive currently. We then have the opportunity to experience our witnessing awareness, becoming a neutral observer of our own life, what we are thinking, feeling, seeing, and saying. Can we change our story, narrative, our experience? You will notice that the world changes to fit the story we are telling. We all have beliefs and conditioning. When we find disharmony, we have the opportunity to trace whatever we are saying and feeling about that moment back to a belief which we are either consciously or unconsciously holding. Tracing any disharmony back to ourselves will help us detangle and unravel ourselves from old beliefs and conditioning. The path of growth is not a straight line. What we think we know stops our inquiry. Let's start with a beginner's mind to know what we don't know. As we surrender our ego and use humility, we open the door to learning and revelation. We surrender to our limitations through humility as we gain grace and growing our ability for witnessing awareness. Bringing in that awareness. Let's center in the mind, the higher dantian and the third eye. Let's bring in our intuition. And as we center in the mind, the third eye, we bring in that intuition. We open our minds, we clear our minds. Start to become aware of our thoughts, our habits, our patterns. Let's bring that energy down to the heart, the mid-dantian. Connecting our intuition to our heart, to wholeness, to compassion, to love. The ability to connect with others in a positive way. And then let's bring that all the way down to the low dantian, where we are connected to earth, where we feel our foundation, our stability, our centeredness. Taking nice deep breaths as we connect these three dantians, the upper and the third eye, the mid and the heart, and the lower dantian and the sacral. Each breath bringing that connection in, aligning ourselves with our true purpose, opening our hearts and bringing in life, being able to be aware and in the moment. Slowly starting to reawake back to the room, bringing our awarenesses back to the body. Maybe moving fingers, toes, maybe stretching up and overhead as we contract. And then when we are ready, let's move to our left side, if we can. On the left side is preferable. As we come into our fetal position, here we can relax and draw those knees in. When we are ready to come back up into our sitting position, let's bring our palms down, use that arm strength to press away from the earth, to bring ourselves back to our sitting position. That way we don't compromise our back if we use our arm strength. Thank you for joining me for yoga today. Namaste.